I stood in the operating room at Seattle Grace Children's Hospital, my gloved hands shaking as I stared at the brain scan of a 9-year-old boy. A blood clot was pressing on his motor cortex. One wrong move and he could lose everything. Behind me, a voice I hadn't heard in years broke the silence. "Stacy, please save my grandson." I froze. That voice, it was unmistakable. I turned, and there she was, Margaret Hensley, the woman who'd torn my life apart, now begging for my help. But before I could pick up the scalpel, memories hit me like a storm I couldn't escape. 9 years ago, I was a tired medical student finishing my pediatric neurosurgery training at the University of Washington. I came from a simple family, nothing like the tech giants in Seattle. Then I met Ethan Hensley. Ethan was different. He didn't act rich, even though his family owned half the medical tech industry. He'd sit through lectures on healthcare innovation, but preferred eating burgers with me on the university lawn over fancy dinners downtown. His smile, it made my heart skip. We started dating, slow at first, then all in. Late-night drives in his blue Prius through quiet Seattle streets became our escape. He'd talk about revolutionizing kids' healthcare, and I'd share my dream of saving lives with steady hands. Our dreams felt like one. When Ethan proposed at a park overlooking Lake Washington, I cried. He knelt, holding a simple ring. "Stacy Miller, will you marry me?" I said yes without a second thought. For a moment, life felt perfect. I thought love could conquer anything. I was wrong. The Hensleys weren't just rich, they were powerful. Ethan's dad was a tech CEO, and his mom, Margaret, ran a huge medical charity. They lived in a world of yachts and galas. Me, I was the daughter of a small-town teacher who'd clawed her way through college on scholarships. When I met Margaret, her smile was polite, but her eyes were cold, like she was sizing me up. Every question she asked, where I was from, what I wanted, felt like a test I couldn't pass. I thought Ethan's love would be enough. It wasn't. Margaret didn't stop at questions. She hired people to dig into my past, giving Ethan photos of me at college dinners with rich guys, photos that meant nothing but looked bad. One night, Ethan showed up at my apartment holding those pictures. "Stacy, is this real, or are you just chasing a better life?" His words hurt worse than any cut. I couldn't believe he doubted me after everything. We fought, loud, bitter, raw. I pulled off the ring and handed it back. "If you don't trust me, what's left?" I walked away, thinking I'd never see him again. I didn't know that was the last time I'd see him alive. The next morning, I stared at the ring on my counter, my heart empty. I kept hoping Ethan would call, apologize, see how wrong he was. But my phone stayed silent. Instead, I got a text from Margaret. "It's best if you move on." I wanted to believe Ethan didn't agree, but doubt crept in. I buried myself in studying, but Ethan's face, his eyes hard as he questioned my love, haunted me. A week later, a friend from our program caught up with me on campus. "Heard about Ethan? He's working crazy hours at his dad's company, trying to prove himself." I knew Margaret had gotten to him. 2 weeks later, I saw Ethan one last time. He came to my place, soaked from the rain, eyes tired. Whispers, "Stacy, maybe Mom's right. Maybe we're too different." I could barely breathe. "Are you saying you don't love me?" He shook his head. "I'm saying love might not be enough." I don't even recall my reply. Something about trust, about fighting for love. But his face said it all. When he walked into the rain, something in me broke. That night, he drove too fast on a wet road near Mercer Island. His car skidded, hit a barrier, and flipped. He died instantly. I got the call at 2 a.m. "Are you Ethan Hensley's emergency contact?" "Yes. What happened?" "I'm sorry, ma'am. He didn't make it." I collapsed, the phone falling beside me. The next day, I went to the hospital where they'd taken him. The antiseptic smell choked me. At the end of the hall, Margaret stood, her hair perfect, her face sharp. "What are you doing here?" "They called me," I whispered. Her eyes narrowed. "You're why he was out there. You killed him." Her words hit like a slap. "Margaret, I never wanted this." She stepped closer. Whispers, "You used my son for his name. When it didn't work, you broke him. You might as well have crashed that car yourself." I tried to speak, but nothing came out. She walked away, her heels clicking like a final judgment. For weeks, I was a ghost. Classes blurred, friends' voices faded. At night, I stared at the ceiling, wishing I could undo every harsh word I'd said to Ethan. One night, I sat on my bathroom floor, holding a bottle of pills. I didn't want to die. I just didn't want to hurt anymore. Then I remembered Ethan's words from our last drive. "You'll be an amazing doctor, Stacy. You'll save lives." I put the bottle down and cried until morning. The next week, I noticed something else. My period was late. I thought it was stress, but a test confirmed it. 2 pink lines. Oh my God, I was carrying Ethan's child. That tiny life gave me a reason to keep going, but I didn't know it would soon break me again. Pregnancy was hard, but carrying the child of a man I just lost was like climbing a mountain with a broken heart. I dragged myself through each day, my belly growing as grief sank deeper. The Hensleys never reached out. Margaret's cold stare at Ethan's funeral said I wasn't welcome. So I worked long hours at a local clinic, pushing through school. Every night, I'd sit on my bed, hand on my stomach, whispering, "We'll be okay, little one." When I felt the first kick, I cried, not from sadness, but from hope. This baby was part of Ethan, all I had left. My water broke early on a rainy spring morning while I was charting notes. Within an hour, I was in labor at Seattle Grace Children's Hospital. The pain was intense, contractions stealing my breath. I held one thought: I'd soon hold my baby. "Push, Stacy," the nurse said. I gave everything, screaming as my baby's cries filled the room. But they stopped too soon. "Why isn't he crying?" The nurse's face tightened. A doctor appeared, voice calm but urgent. "He's not breathing right. We need to act fast." They rushed him to an incubator. I heard a faint cry, then silence. The doctor returned, gloves off. "And sorry, the cord was around his neck. We couldn't save him." Everything shattered. "No, I hurt him," I thrashed, reaching for the incubator. "Let me hold him." A needle pricked my arm, and darkness took me. When I woke, a tiny bundle lay on a chair, a lifeless weight in a blanket. I lifted it, staring at the pale face. "This isn't my baby." The nurse glanced at another staff member. "Stacy, you're in shock. This is your son." But I knew this wasn't the child I'd felt move inside me. Grief silenced my fight. I kissed the cold forehead. "I'm sorry, baby boy." The funeral was small, just me and a few friends. Margaret sent flowers. I tore up the card. I barely ate or slept, clutching the tiny hospital bracelet meant for my son. My world was ashes. What I didn't know was that Margaret had been at the hospital that night. While I was sedated, she used her influence, whispering to a doctor she'd funded, "She's not stable. Do what's best for the baby." Her words stole my motherhood. When I woke, holding what I thought was my dead son, I believed it because grief blinds you. A nurse's guilty look lingered, but I didn't see it then. All I knew was my last piece of Ethan was gone. Somewhere in the Hensley mansion, my baby, my Liam, was alive, raised as Margaret's grandson, given a new name. For years, I drowned in medicine. I worked double shifts, took every case, and climbed the ranks until I earned a spot as a pediatric neurosurgeon at Seattle Grace. To others, I was thriving. Inside, I was empty, surviving on autopilot. I didn't date. My heart was closed, not from fear, but because no love could survive that pain again. 9 years later, fate had other plans. It was a quiet Thursday when my trauma pager buzzed. Child, male, 9, head injury, possible bleed. I met the gurney and froze. The boy had Ethan's eyes. "What's his name?" "Leon Hensley," the EMT said. My stomach dropped. Then I heard her. "Stacy, please save him." Margaret stood there, older, frailer, but her eyes were the same. I wanted to scream, but Liam groaned, pulling me back. This was about him. In surgery, I blocked out everything but Liam's brain. Every cut was precise, every stitch perfect. When it was done, I glanced at his face. His eyelashes fluttered, and for a moment, I believed it. Hours later, outside his recovery room, Margaret approached. "Thank you." I didn't reply, my eyes on Liam. Then I saw it, a worn hospital bracelet on his wrist, one I'd made 9 years ago. Crying. Where did he get that? Margaret paled, her lips trembling. After losing everything, you either break or rebuild. I rebuilt, but it wasn't me anymore. After believing Liam died, I poured my grief into medicine. Colleagues called me unshakable, precise. Parents thanked me with tears, but it didn't touch me. I was hollow, climbing to become one of the youngest neurosurgeons at Seattle Grace. People called me brilliant, but I hadn't felt alive in years. 9 years later, fate had other plans. It was a quiet Thursday when my trauma pager buzzed. Child, male, 9, head injury, possible bleed. I met the gurney and froze. The boy had Ethan's eyes. What's his name? Liam Hensley, the EMT said. My stomach dropped. Then I heard her. "Stacy, please save him." Margaret stood there, older, frailer, but her eyes were the same. I wanted to scream, but Liam groaned, pulling me back. This was about him. In surgery, I blocked out everything but Liam's brain. Every cut was precise, every stitch perfect. When it was done, I glanced at his face. His eyelashes fluttered, and for a moment, I believed it. Hours later, outside his recovery room, Margaret approached. "Thank you." I didn't reply, my eyes on Liam. Then I saw it, a worn hospital bracelet on his wrist, one I'd made 9 years ago. Crying. Where did he get that? Margaret paled, her lips trembling. After losing everything, you either break or rebuild. I rebuilt, but it wasn't me anymore. After believing Liam died, I poured my grief into medicine. Colleagues called me unshakable, precise. Parents thanked me with tears, but it didn't touch me. I was hollow, climbing to become one of the youngest neurosurgeons at Seattle Grace. People called me brilliant, but I hadn't felt alive in years.
Seeing Liam changed that. His eyes, like Ethan's, stirred something deep. But it was the bracelet that broke me. A blue cord with a silver bead, scratched just like the one I'd made for my Liam. That night, I dug out a box of buried memories. Ultrasound photos, baby clothes, the matching bracelet. They were identical. I couldn't sleep, my mind racing. The sedation, the strange nurse, Margaret's absence at the funeral, it all clicked. What if my son never died? The next day, I faced Margaret outside Liam's room. She looked old, scared. "We need to talk." Her throat cleared, sharp like before. "Not now, Stacy. My grandson just had surgery." "Your grandson? That bracelet, where's it from?" Her eyes flicked away, and I saw guilt. "I don't know what you mean," she said weakly. I stepped closer. 9 years ago, I gave birth here. My son was declared dead. But your grandson wears the bracelet I made for him. How, Margaret?" She stepped back, her composure cracking. "You were sedated, Stacy. You don't know what you saw." "I know you were there," I said, voice shaking. "You took him, didn't you?" Her silence screamed the truth. "Why was hating me easier than letting Ethan marry me? What did stealing my child fix?" Margaret's hand covered her mouth. "Ethan was gone. I couldn't lose his child too. Not to you." Her words cut deep. "He was mine, Margaret. You let me bury an empty casket." She crumpled against the wall. "I have brain cancer, stage 4. I'm dying." I froze, part of me wanting to laugh at the irony, part wanting to scream. "What, you want forgiveness now?" She shook her head. "I want Liam to know you. I was wrong, Stacy. I've known it, but I was too proud." My anger quieted, but didn't fade. 9 years of grief couldn't be erased. His first words, his first steps, gone. But looking at Liam, sleeping safely, I softened.
You tell him, not me. He deserves the truth from you. She nodded. I will. The next morning, I entered Liam's room. He was awake, pale, playing on a tablet. His hazel eyes, Ethan's eyes, met mine, and I forgot to breathe. Hey, how are you feeling? He shrugged shyly. My head hurts, but Grandma says I'm brave. My chest tightened, but I smiled. She's right, you were so brave. Margaret entered, slower, leaning on a cane. Liam, we need to talk about something important. He frowned. Is it bad? No, it's about family. She glanced at me, tears in her eyes. Remember how I said your mom died when you were born? He nodded. That wasn't true. Your mom's alive. She's right here. Liam looked at me shocked. You're my mom? I stepped closer, trembling. Yes, Liam. I've loved you since I knew you were coming. I never stopped. He blinked, processing. But Grandma said... Margaret cut in, voice breaking. I lied, Liam. I took you from her. I thought I was protecting you, but I was wrong. Silence fell, broken only by the heart monitor. Liam twisted his hands. So, you're my real mom? Yes, baby. I missed everything because I thought you were gone, but I'm here now. His lip trembled, then he whispered. Mom? I hugged him gently, his arms tightening around me. I looked up, and Margaret was crying. She reached out, and I took her hand, not forgiveness, but acknowledgement. Over days, Liam and I talked. He asked why I wasn't there, if I loved him, if I'd take him away. I answered honestly. I didn't know you were alive, Liam, but I love you more than anything. Margaret watched, her illness worsening, like confessing let her body give up. One evening, she whispered, Thank you for not hating me enough to keep him from me. I didn't know about forgiveness, but hate wouldn't make Liam the man Ethan wanted. Before Margaret went to hospice, she told Liam, Be strong and listen to your mom. She's everything I wasn't. He hugged her, tears falling. For the first time, their bond felt real, built on truth. That night, Liam whispered, Mom, can we start over, like today's the beginning? I kissed his forehead. Yes, baby, from today. Margaret died 2 weeks later, quietly in her home. I stayed with Liam through it, for him, not her. On her last night, she called me. You don't owe me forgiveness, just love him enough for both of us. I nodded. I already do. She smiled, closed her eyes, and was gone. Margaret left Liam a letter. He held it nervously. Should I read it, Mom? Only if you want to. He read silently, then sniffled. She said she's sorry and always loved me. I held him as he cried, quiet tears of understanding. Legally, guardianship passed to me smoothly. Margaret had signed papers before dying. But challenges remained. Liam asked tough questions at night. Did you hate her, Mom? I did. But hate keeps you stuck. I want to move forward with you. He smiled, eyes like Ethan's. Would Dad be proud of me? I know he would. Liam adjusted to me fast, helping cook, leaving drawings on my desk, asking about my life. One day, he showed me a photo of Ethan as a kid, holding a toy boat. Grandma said he loved boats, true? Yes, he wanted to sail one day. Liam grinned. Can we see boats sometime? I hugged him. Anything you want, baby. Weeks later, when Liam recovered, we marked our new start with a picnic at Golden Gardens Beach. The sun set, painting the sky golden. Liam ran ahead, splashing in the cold Puget Sound. Come on, Mom! I chased him, laughing, my heart light. We walked the shore, waves erasing our footprints. Liam built something in the sand. What is it? I asked. A dock for Dad's boat, so he can visit. I knelt, tears falling, and we built it together, placing Ethan's toy boat at the edge. He's home now, Liam whispered. I held him close. Yes, baby, he is. As the sun sank, Liam looked up. Mom, can we start over, just us, a new life? I hugged him, smiling. We already have. Today's day one. He grinned, gap-toothed and perfect. I love you, Mom. I love you too, Liam. Always. We stood, arms around each other, the waves roaring, the wind carrying away the past. For the first time in 9 years, I felt hope. Not Stacy Miller, the broken mother, but Stacy Miller, the woman who fought back to love and family. And as I held my son, I knew this was just the start.